burp, thank you.
That's deliberate. Question over here.
Adama and Roslin, during the course of the series, and especially the last season, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the evolution of that relationship from I don't like this woman to putting the wedding ring on her finger improv.
What more can be said other than I think the writing on this show has given us what we're all talking about. A great thank you should be given to every single person that has been writing on this show. It's been a remarkable journey, and I've done a lot of work in my lifetime, and most of the work that I've done has been stuff that is very entertaining, what I consider to be entertaining, but at the same time has social relevance to it that people actually go home thinking about something after they experience it. But nothing of this caliber. This has been best. So when Laura and I were pinned against each other at the beginning, I was so grateful that they chose that way to start. And it carried on for a long time, as you remember. And it was a deadly rivalry at the very beginning because of the whole understanding that we were in a war, especially between Ty and myself against her. We really didn't like her at all. And we thought it was something that was just completely in story form, was a very, very difficult situation to try to deal with. And yet we tried and we sustained, but man, the way they twisted it, and it took a long time. People were wanting this after the first year. They wanted us to come together, and they wouldn't do that. They didn't. And so by the time, in my own improvisational way, pinned my ring on her, it was a long time coming, and it was really a great, great feeling of joy between Mary and myself. And I think you're going to really appreciate the remainder of the fourth season, which has now become the fifth season. And of course, they didn't pay us for 5 seasons. So you can see where they're coming from, and which I never let them forget. But yes, the question is, what did I feel about it? I thought it was fantastic. I thought that the art was just extraordinary, and I think that's what really made people appreciate this storytelling that we've been doing over the last 5 years. So again, thank you for the question. I love that woman, on and off camera. She's a great lady.
400 of them. What really happened between Bill and Laura on New Capricorn?
Yes!
That comes out in the second movie that we'll be making for sci-fi. We're making the first one right now. We actually finished the season, and we're starting our first motion picture that will go straight to DVD. They will be playing, I guess, a portion of it on regular television, but the real version of it will be on DVD, and it's being made for DVD. And but the second movie that we make will actually be the story of what happened on Caprica and how Adama got laid.
Yeah.
Really happened. Number 6 time.
Don't even ask, man. That's like asking for the inside story of what's going on. There is times, I gotta tell you, in the worst case scenarios, when we're supposed to be in our most dramatic state, where, I mean, literally, Mary has given up. I mean, she just says, I can't stand you guys. I hate you guys. And she starts screaming at us and just walks off with such hatred. Or Grace, or somebody who's there in the middle of their big scene, and it's about, really emotional stress, and the rest of us can't hold it together. It's terrible.
Especially if you get Mary laughing, right?
If you get Mary laughing, and it's 3 hours of waiting.
You take the chimney down in 45 minutes, it's going to be 3 hours, because she will not be able to stop. And so we end up laughing at her, and then everyone's laughing, and it's just the actors too. So you've got the director and producers and everyone going, what is he? It's giggling about this. Who's going, can we go, please? We want to go home.
James, of all the bad things Gaius Baltar has done, what does he regret the most?
Baltar doesn't have any regrets.
How long have you got? What does he regret the most? I suppose I was saying to Ron that there was this device that we used that I thought was so cool about him going back to the house, always in his mind. He goes back to that house that he shared. And I was like, that's, on some level, it's like a psychotic episode. You keep on going back to that moment in time. It's not just the house, it's the moment when you found out just how idiotic and narcissistic you've been. There was a point, actually, I remember in the miniseries, where when Gaius is watching the television and everybody's blowing up and everything, it was just, what is it? Well, there were no lines, I remember. It was something about, Gaius is watching the television, it all goes blank. And I remember thinking at the time, saying this thing, going, what have I done? What have I done? And then I got a phone call from David Icke saying, thank you very much for saying that, because it actually put some groundwork in for you to feel guilty and obliterated in your soul about the repercussions of the thing that you've done. So on the level of giving military secrets away to your girlfriend because she's actually cleverer than you and she's writing the logarithms, I would say that is the thing that he regrets the most.
Entire forum devoted to Adama and Roslin on the Sci-Fi Channel, and there's a whole bunch of us really annoyed by the fact that Adama still wears his wedding ring, and we'd like to know if there's a backstory for that, and also whether or not he's going to take it off before the series ends.
It was something that I did on my own. I don't think the writers ever really picked up on it until maybe the second or third season, that I actually had a wedding ring on. I did it for a reason in my own backstory. Adama was married before the show starts. There was a divorce. He really didn't want the divorce, and it happened. And so as far as he was concerned, he was still married, and he never gave that up. And so he just wore it, and no one ever said anything about it. It's the first time I've even been asked a question about the ring. But it turned out to be quite an interesting choice, because I could feel every day that I wore that ring a little more understanding of what it meant. And then every day I got closer to, as the years went on, that I got closer to